Well met you, denizens of England. I am your king, your majesty, King Alfred Tristan Lawrence Augustine Crawford, and it is by my royal decree that every individual who lives upon this earth should be listening to the podcast run by two white guys who talk about wrestling. One is in a car called Dropkick, the Commute.
Hell yeah, that's good.
That's gonna be the intro now.
Mufussy and Galea, the kings of the ring. Dropkick the commute, we're just getting started still. Mufussy and Galea.
Hello and welcome to Dropkick the Commute, the only podcast on the internet where two white guys talk about wrestling. I'm joined by Galeer, my wonderful co-host, repping the AEW merch today, who is dying. I got him sick. Good. We have a guest today, my longtime friend, Michael. Hello. How are you?
Oh
Hello,
my God.
everybody there, drop kicking their commute. My name is Michael, and I'm here to talk about my fight where I play King Alfred Tristan Lawrence Augustine Crawford, King of England, Ireland, in the oft-forgotten Isle of Man.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting topic today. Michael is not really a wrestling fan, I would say. You don't keep up with the shows or anything, but
I don't really keep up with wrestling at all, but I appreciate wrestling through the lens of stage combat and just like theatrics, because that's what
right.
that's like a main, like, of course, like what we're going to discuss today. It's much like wrestling in the way where, like, yeah, there's parts of the show where you beat the shit out of each other, but like there's also so much theater involved, like the backstage shit, all the, like, the rivalries and like the storylines. It's just like
It's uncanny.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I am going to play a clip right now, and this is what we're going to be talking about.
God save the king! Oh yeah! 30 seconds! Five, four, three, two, ten, nine, eight, three, two, one. Stop fight! He's got fighting. Go, go! What's going on, people? Love the humanity.
Michael.
Yeah.
You got your ass kicked, but you also did some ass kicking.
Absolutely, I did, yeah.
Give us some context as to... So this was at a Ren Fair. Give us some context about the Ren Fair. Give us some context about the fight, how it fits into the lore of the fair, and basically what's going on in this clip.
Okay, yeah, so, as I said before, I play King Alfred Tristan Lawrence Augustine Crawford, King of England, Ireland, in the oft-forgotten Isle of Man, at the Connecticut Renaissance Fair. And as a duty as the king there, I oversee a lot of the games that happen there, just kind of more as like a showpiece than anything, because at the Renaissance Fair, being the king, it's nice to just be at a place where there's a lot of people, so you're kind of seen.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is the king. And I'm like, I am the king. And so one of my duties was to watch the joust, and then kind of like a side duty I had because I had so much free time in the second half of my day that I decided to start watching the Knights of Gore second show. And the Knights of Gore is the live armored combat group that you saw in that clip that I'm fighting against. The guy I'm fighting against is Lord Jeffrey. He kind of fights.
Lord Jeffrey.
Yeah, he's a fighter. And he runs the entire thing. He was basically there since the beginning and the foundation of it. Um, and so every day at 3:45, I would watch the show, and it's basically what you saw in the clip. It's just dudes in armor fighting each other, and you watch that every day, and you have over 400 hours played in the Ubisoft game For Honor, and you're just there sitting as king. And you're like, oh man, this is just like For Honor. I think I could do this shit. Like I give a lot of credit to everybody who does it there at the Knights of Gore because they're actually hitting each other.
Yeah.
But
you took some crazy bumps.
yeah,
Yeah,
this clip.
I'm gonna be real. I didn't watch in preparation for it, so this is like my live reaction. I'm watching it now,
Yeah.
and it's just like I'm just seeing these shots that you're taking,
Yeah.
and like obviously you're protected, which is
Yeah.
good. It's good that you're protected because you know
The
it's
craziest
obviously-
one in the clip to me was when like you both just like stand there for a second and he like braces and you like sprint like full speed ahead at this man and you like bent in half.
yeah,
And I was
did.
like, that is insane.
The armor does such a good job at like protecting the person. Like how it was explained to me is that there's a higher risk of me just going onto the field and accidentally twisting my ankle in like 100 pounds of armor and
Yeah.
getting hurt that way, but getting wailed on, getting punched, if you can keep your bearings and keep standing after getting punched, like you really don't feel anything
Yeah.
in the moment. Afterwards, it starts to set in.
Plus you got like this adrenaline and like this adrenaline rush going through you.
I
Like
was
a
gonna
wrestler.
say, what's that like? Like, were you just like feeling the rush during that, or were you kind of like chill about it? Like, how was it?
It was a very hard moment for me as an actor. Because, I was watching it and I went up to Lord Jeffrey one day and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, Lord Jeffrey, come over here because he was fighting in the melee, which they have a big melee at the end. And I said, I don't know the legality of this, but I want to fight you in that ring. And I just want to make it happen. I don't care. And he was so on board. He's like, this has never happened in all the years of Connecticut Renaissance Fair. Like nobody on cast has ever want to has never done this before. No, and let alone the king fighting me. Like you better not be boning me, man. And I'm like, no.
You're
I'm
like,
not
no,
boning
this
you.
is gonna happen.
I really want because it's just For Honor. And like I was saying, all the people I appreciate what they do, but there's like levels of showmanship that people show, and like I wanted to go in and give people a show. Like I wanted to just like do it. And so when you see me in armor in that ring, that's my first time being in armor and fighting. Like I didn't get a chance to like practice hitting. I didn't get a chance to actually like wear the full armor until day of. So I had to go out into that arena as the King of England, and I have to give off the aura in my first time doing this, the whole entire thing, my first time, give off the aura that I am the king and I've been in war. But I haven't been in war for over a decade, and that's why I'm a little rusty, but just to give off the aura that I was in war. And so to keep that up and to just like go whole hog and like be an animal and just like show like, yeah, this guy's been in war, was really hard because it was really hard to breathe in that helmet.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
can
bet.
imagine.
Yeah.
And with all of that, you said 100 pounds of armor on you isn't just like something you can kind of shrug off.
Yeah, no, it's a lot to adapt to, and to add like a theatrical component to it, it was an interesting challenge.
Yeah. So the main reason why we're talking about this is when you initially told me about this, you were like, bro, this is just pro wrestling. Like you said there were a lot of similarities to it. And
Absolutely.
even in the clip, you can see them. Like you come out, you're getting booed to all hell. Jeffrey comes out, he's getting, people are going crazy for him. And then you have the match itself, of course. And I think just the whole theatric like presence of it. So go into that a little bit and how you like can compare it. Basically your initial thoughts of what you told me.
I know you love pro wrestling.
Yeah.
So like I was also thinking of you.
It's okay.
I don't know.
Yeah,
have,
you don't like it.
podcast.
I don't either.
It's just it feels like you do, and I was just thinking of you because I'm like, damn, this is just like wrestling in a way, because like there's different people with just different weapons, different armor, so they're differentiated in some way.
Yeah.
They're just wailing on each other. There's some kind of like agreement of like rules and what shouldn't be done. And kind of some theatrics and some playing up of being hit. Like that first hit in the match, like I did knock him down, but his role that he did was him playing it up.
Yeah.
And so like stuff like that where like, yes, it's like wrestling. Yes, it's two dudes in the ring absolutely like smashing the shit out of each other. Like if I had my bearings just a little bit more and I wasn't struggling to keep my breath so much, there was gonna be a steel chair in the ring. Like I was gonna hit him with a steel chair.
Yeah.
But we couldn't get around to it because I was just so in the zone. And like yeah, it's like two men in the ring, like fucking wailing on each other. But also at the same time, like there's theatrics to it. Like there's some playing up for the audience. There's an entertainment component to it. And it's just like if somebody in that group had like a writer who like wrote loose storylines, like it doesn't have to be a lot, because like their format is like 1 minute rounds of combat. Two 1 minute rounds with a 30-minute break. And if they just added like some light storyline, I feel like it could go a long way.
Yeah, is there like a tournament set up, or is it just like they just have these matches?
They basically just have these matches. Like, I don't know the inner workings that much, but I would assume they kind of like just based on vibes. Whoever they want to fight, they'll fight.
They should, even a loose story, set it up as like a tournament, and then now that the precedent is set that the king can participate, have a loose storyline of the tournament, and then the winner faces the king at the end or some shit. Like that could be so cool.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I like what happened with the match that I had with Lord Jeffrey specifically, because we had officiated that this match was going to happen in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it was the 5th weekend or the 6th weekend that I posed it to him, and it was the last weekend or 8th weekend that we were going to do it. And he was fighting, and he won, and he kneeled to me, and he said to me, "My king," God, I can't remember. I'm so bad with memories. But
was it like a good game kind of thing, like a sign of respect?
It was a sign of respect. And I said to him basically to the crowd, you kneel before me now, and I hope you get used to it, for you will be in my army in due time, or something like that.
Yeah.
Just playing up the story.
It's like a little cliffhanger.
Yeah, like I challenged him to the match in that moment, and was like, yeah, you're kneeling now, and you're gonna be kneeling to me, like soon enough. And then the morning of the match comes, and we have this morning meeting, or like this royal greeting, where the king comes in and he sees all the people of the town in Levenshire. And Tito, who is one of the guys who is the refs of the Knights of Gore, came up and said there is an invitation Lord Geoffrey to you, Your Majesty. And I say, oh, what it is? What is it? And the story was set up as a very tense um, duel and wager where both characters didn't want either like the outcome of their enemy. So Lord Geoffrey is from the Gore region of France, is what his character is. And I'm the King of England, and historically the King of England invades France.
Right.
And so the wager was either if I win, Lord Geoffrey, the French guy who is a French Templar, would have to fight in my army in France. And then if he won, I would have to give up my ambitions as king to invade France. And so that was the storyline. And like throughout the day, him and I would spread rumors and stuff. Like my bit for the day was I was going around to all the patrons and I was saying, excuse me, I was saying, my good gentles, let me posit you this question. I have decided to take this wager today. I have decided to fight Lord Geoffrey of the Knights of Gore. Now, my children, I was with my children at the time, and I said, my children are fearful for my life, for they think I shall die. But I think my chances are well, for I am the King of England. I have fought in war, but not for 10 years. And my opponent, Lord Geoffrey, he has fought for 40 years straight, and he has no signs of stopping. What do you think my chances are?
And so people would say, like, oh, you're fucked.
Yeah, they would basically say, like, no, you're screwed. And I'm like, well, I have certain reflexes, and there's just a certain spirit about me that I think I could dodge in a certain way.
Yeah.
And so it was stuff like that. Or just going around like saying like I'm going to win against Lord Geoffrey 3-0, and I would like go to patrons and I would talk about the fight and I say I'm going to beat Lord Geoffrey 3-0, and I want you, little boy, to go to the Knights of Gore's encampment and tell him that personally.
Oh, you gave them like little side quests and
Yeah.
shit? That's so fun.
But like just like playing up throughout the day that there's gonna be this fight, because like it got people so excited.
Yeah.
You hear the crowd in that video. That's like the largest crowd and most like cheering they've ever had for any of their performances.
Yeah.
So like it was a big deal. One of the bartenders, their name is Becky. She was telling me this story about this 10-year-old girl who was talking to her, and they were just talking. And eventually she said, I have to go because Lord Geoffrey is going to fight the King of England, and I have to see that. She was so excited to see the King of England fight Lord Geoffrey.
Yeah.
And like it made me realize how playing with different parts of the fair can truly lead to like actual like discussions and like prevailing narratives throughout the day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like who
It's also
knows?
it's just like getting the people like buzzing and like making them. It's
Yeah,
promotion.
exactly.
It's what we call in the business. We call good promo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good promo because I had people coming up to me throughout the day being like, I heard you're fighting today, my king. I'm like, and I want you to be there on my side. It was just like the atmosphere was ripe for a fight.
And it like built all day to this like big moment. And the dude, you're right, the crowd is like they're fucking hyped. In the
Yeah,
in
they're
the
going
whole
hard.
clip, they're like going crazy. And it's very funny because it's like, when you watch wrestling matches, like depending on who the characters are, like who's in the match, or depending on how the match is going, you can tell, and honestly it adds to it. It makes the match better if the crowd reacts. Like there was a match on Dynamite the other day. I texted Galeer and I was like, yo, the crowd is like dead silent, which was so surprising for these two people. But the crowd in your matches, like every hit, they're just like screaming, they're yelling, like they're going crazy. That big bump you took, they're like, oh, like they're fucking losing their minds over this shit. And the brawl that broke out at the end, like People were going crazy.
That's what people go craziest for. Like, yeah, they fight with swords. Yeah, they fight with maces.
Yeah.
But like wrestling, they just want to see people get grappled and get fucking punched.
Yeah.
And like get the shit beat out of them.
Yeah.
Like,
dude.
and that's what I, my first time doing it, I really pushed myself as hard as I could to deliver like that type of fight.
I think it's awesome because like a lot of in almost anywhere, us as humans, we love to watch fighting. Whether you
Yeah, we
want to
do.
admit it or not, we like watching. We like going to Renaissance fairs. We like watching pro wrestling, UFC. Fucking look hundreds of years ago, centuries ago, just gladiatorial combat is like people would literally like convene to watch people genuinely actually murder each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
mean, death and just blood sport is like the name of the game. I mean, not only that, people fucking in the Renaissance era lined up to see people be executed. People love violence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's obviously, we've calmed down a bit as a society.
Thankfully.
Thankfully. But like we're still down enough to see like a performance of
Yeah.
a fight, or even in like hockey, fighting is like part of it.
Oh yeah.
It's
Like you
Yeah,
expect a fight
absolutely.
in a hockey
you
game.
expect a fight to break out in you go to a hockey game. It's so much so that like in the video games and any like pop culture depictions of hockey, there's fighting involved
Yeah.
because it's like normalized.
Yeah.
So like we as people, like humans, we love to watch a fight to any capacity. Even in a non-physical fight.
Yeah.
It's like we'll go on fucking Bravo TV and watch Real Housewives. We'll get a good little scream sesh or
Yeah.
what
yeah.
have you. Like any fighting to any extent. We just love drama.
Yeah,
That's
we do.
that's the name of the game.
Michael, it's funny that you mentioned like people just want to see a good old grapple, because when Frank, Amber, and I went to Medieval Times, they set up the whole tournament and you have your side, you have your color and everything, and it's the same thing, like they're not. It's played up, it's theatrical and all that. Like they're hitting each other, but they're selling a lot. And the last fight, there was like a heel turn in this fight. Like this guy he was good through the whole show, and then at the end he turns bad, and then they just throw down their weapons and start beating the shit out of each other. And me and
that was the
Frank
most
were
hype.
fucking going crazy, bro. Like it was so good. And the king comes down, he's like, "You were good to me like all these years," and then he like lost his shit. And dude, it was like it's so crazy. It really is just fucking wrestling. Like there's so
It's all
many
wrestling.
parallels to it. Everything is wrestling.
I get clocked for like relating everything to wrestling, but it really is.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny. We did the Galeer Halloween show last week, and like the playlist our friends made was, I was saying all the music sounded like the generic ass like wannabe, like modern rap that you hear in the Raw and SmackDown theme songs. Like
Yeah.
I am the best. Yeah, yeah. But picture that, but like Halloween, and it's just like you could. And I was like, oh, this sounds like Raw and SmackDown. And Anna looked at me and she was like, is everything wrestling? And I was
Yes.
like, yes.
Yes.
Even something as minuscule as like music,
Yeah.
it adds to
All
like
wrestling.
layers.
It's all
Yeah,
wrestling.
it's all wrestling. I had a question.
Yeah.
So obviously, surrounding the beef that you guys have, you're going around and you're promoting it to people and you're spreading rumors and you're getting people's, you're getting the wheels turning for some people. And it's kind of sounds like you planned more or less like the result of the fight. Is that like, do you just kind of figure that out on the fly? And then also a follow up to that, I guess, is like in wrestling, like a lot is on the fly, and I feel like this is also very improv in that way. But as for the way it ends, is that just kind of up to everyone else to like break it up, or do you guys kind of like, all right, let's go crazy and see if they break it up, kind of thing? Like I'm curious to know like that if there is a process at all to that.
Yeah, so all the combat you saw was on the fly, except for the ending where we kind of had like a moment where like the king is in Lord Jeffrey's domain, and Lord Jeffrey, we had to hash out what his character wanted and what my character wanted, so like our story was like
Yeah.
fit for our characters, and like we decided that I was going to like cheat and go on top of him, and then my guys would come in, do the 1, 2, 3 as quick as they could, and then all their
Screw job.
guys. Yeah, and then all their guys would come in and surround me, and I would be taken out, which is exactly what you saw in the video.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the only part that was really scripted. Was like I was gonna win by doing a dirty move, and I would be taken out, and they would come and like surround me,
Yeah.
which was a really cool moment. I can imagine from watching the crowd. I didn't see it because I was sweating my ass off, and I was fighting a condition known as helmet horrors. I was warned. I know this is a whole new can of worms. I
Yeah,
opened.
yeah.
Spooky.
I was warned by Lord Jeffrey that newbies in the helmet can experience this thing called helmet horrors, which is basically just kind of like a panic attack because it's brought about by not being able to really breathe that well in the helmet.
Like
and just like
Yeah, you
claustrophobia
can't
almost.
breathe. You're
Yeah.
enclosed in there.
Yeah, so like it could kind of make people go a little like crazy, and I was kind of fighting it. Like it didn't really like overtake me. The horrors didn't overtake me, but like I was trying to be like, okay, just 10 more seconds in the ring. I'm gonna get out. Helmet's gonna be off. It's gonna be right as rain.
Yeah.
So I didn't see them surround me. It was just like I was fighting for my life. But from the audience, I can imagine that it looked really cool. And
Oh
I saw
yeah,
on
it
video.
looked cool for
Yeah.
everyone. Everyone
Badass.
stormed in, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
They're breaking it up.
Yeah.
And then I'm picturing like the let them fight.
You froze,
Hang on.
Galeer. Yeah.
I'm froze.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do. It was, like I said, nobody in cast had ever done it. It was just an on the fly thing. Like I played For Honor. I could do it, man,
Yeah.
and I did it.
For
Like,
honor in real life.
as stupid as I thought that was, it ended up being true. Because like that run I did was trying to emulate Shigoki's run
Yeah, yeah.
in For Honor. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what they need more is like more like rushing and like grappling and just more like wonky moves.
Yeah.
People need signature moves.
Because it seems like it's a lot of swing and a block and a swing and a block and like basic shit like that. But you really like rushed him, like made it super physical, and I thought
Yeah.
it was really dope. Like it was just really fun to watch, very entertaining. The crowd loved it too. So
Yeah, no, it was great, and I never done it before, and one of the guys, Sir Roland, came in and he told me how in the 27 years that he's been doing that he's never seen somebody, a first timer, do so well in the ring.
Yeah.
So that counts for something.
yeah, it does.
It was so much fun to do.
So basically, all in all, Ren Faire fights are just pro wrestling. I think that's what we determined here today.
I mean, if there's anything you should take away, it is that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought
Wrestling
it was
mimics reality.
It does.
I meant to ask, how did you like get into how did you get to where you are now, like being the king of England and
Oh.
everything?
How does one become the king of England?
How do I do it?
I was what was it? It was 20.
You're the king of Connecticut, England.
That's true. I did get like there's this patron who came up to me. I get so many interesting people because like I'm the king and people want to talk to the king, and like a person came up to me and they handed me this piece of paper. It's like, for you, my liege, and I'm like, what is this, my good sir? And
The voice, dude. I can't.
he said. I could just whip that out whenever I want.
I
It's
love
so
that.
fun. He said, it's a map of your domain, my lord. I say, oh, Thank you. And I opened it, and yeah, it was just a map of Connecticut, like done in the style of like a fantasy map. So I
That's
am the
cool.
king of Connecticut. But in 2018, I was kind of just like not doing well, and I wanted to do something in the field that I actually wanted to work in, was acting. And there was somebody who I knew when I was younger named Kim, and she always talked about the Connecticut Renaissance Fair. So I decided to look into it, and I auditioned back in 2018, and I've been there ever since, and I've played a lot of different roles, but in 2023 is when I started playing the king.
My favorite one that you did was the one. What was it? The potion maker or something? You had-
Salazar Shroom, the apothecary who apothecares.
you
Oh, I love that. That's
you
great.
had this
Yeah.
fucking big ass like wooden box with random stuff in there. That was the
Yeah, that was a fun
funniest
one.
thing, dude. The king is pretty dope too, I guess.
Would you say it's your favorite role to be playing at the moment? Like, all right, so say out of everything you've done.
I mean, I'm fortunate enough where I get to play a king where I'm not really tied down to any historical personality, so I get to have a lot more fun with it.
Yeah.
But as a Ren Faire actor and being in it for so long, the most fun you can have is just being like a lower class gremlin. Because when you play lower class characters, you can just roll in the dirt all day and just.
And you can be fucking crazy.
Because when I was at the Sterling Renaissance Festival up in Sterling, New York, we played George Goodwin. And my bit was that I went down into the grass, and since I was a barber surgeon, I did have a pair of scissors, and I did cut upon the grass with my scissors. And that's all. And I rolled around in the dirt all day. It was just so much fun. But King is great because you're the king. I mean, come on, it's a great role.
Everyone's gotta listen to you. You're the fucking king, dude.
It's true. It's so fun to make people bow to you
Yeah.
and kind of be passive aggressive about it too.
When I went to medieval times, so they have the king and queen there, and we went a little early so you can sit in the mead hall and just chill before like the doors to the stadium open. And we're sitting there, and the king, they do like a meet and greet with kids. And so the kids can go up and get a picture with the king and queen and everything, and they have like a little knighting ceremony. In between every single one, I had a stein of beer, right? Like a full ass fucking stein. I went all out. I bought the $30 fucking stein or whatever. And I'm sitting there, and in between every single one, he kept looking over and being like, "Why is that not gone yet? You didn't drink it all?" And he was just heckling me the whole time. And so I ended up getting a second one, and he's like, "Good, good." And then I finished the second one, and he goes, "Huh, an empty glass again." I'm like, "Bro," I was like, "Are you paying for it?" He goes, "No, I'm the king."
Yeah.
And he just kept like heckling me the entire time, and it was so fun.
Yeah, that could be your rebuttal to anything.
Yeah.
You're the king. You're just like, no, I'm the king. Why would I?
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting too because it being able to be the king draws that parallel of like in wrestling where it's like we've chosen you to be the champion.
You're the world champ, yeah.
You're the world champ right now, and you're a big heel.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's great.
It's so cool.
It's a good gimmick to have. I think it's funny too. When I was in film school, my senior or like my advanced film project was about like reenactors, like Civil War reenactors and like Revolutionary War reenactors. So it's kind of cool to see some parallels drawn there as well. Because we did sort of like a little dive into that and everything that goes into it and like how much money can go into it too. And then like how the parallels it draws to like cosplaying and LARPing, especially LARPing. I had a bandmate who was doing LARPs, and then I went to one and we performed at one, which was crazy. It's so cool. It's like a subsection of people that you didn't know existed and that invest most of their lives into it as a hobby. Like I'm sure it takes up a big chunk of your life.
Absolutely. I mean, we get so many different type of people through the Renaissance Fair gates. Like, it's another excuse for cosplayers to take out their cosplays. A lot of not a lot, but there's dedicated people who have like really elegant like period dresses that are like worth thousands of dollars. It's insane. People came just in a vast array of costumes. It's a amazing place to be. A lot of D&D characters. A lot of people come dressed as their D&D characters. It's a really nice space. The fair that I work at. It's just a bunch of nerds. It's
Yeah.
great.
Hell yeah.
That's
I
awesome,
love
man.
that. That's what we are, dude. That's
Yeah,
what we
we
all
are.
are. Just a bunch of nerds.
Yeah.
And it seems as though that next year Lord Jeffrey wants to do it again. So
Oh, hell yeah.
The rematch.
There's gonna be a rematch or a sequel of some sort.
That'd be
I
so
love
sick.
it.
More time to fucking hype up that story, and especially if it's set now, you can set it at the beginning of the fucking fair, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I love it. Oh my
That's
god.
awesome.
The King of England and Lord Jeffrey and GCW. What do you guys think?
yeah,
Absolutely. No, get me in there.
Do it.
All right. Word.
All right. Well, Michael,
Hell
thank you
yeah.
for joining us. Thank you for enlightening us on the Ren Fair and the Ren Fair fights. I think this was very cool, and you took some crazy bumps, and I have a lot of respect for your fighting.
I have a
Thanks.
request.
Oh yeah.
Can you promote Dropkick the Commute in your King of England voice?
Yeah, do
it up,
Do it up.
Well met you, denizens of England. I am your king, your majesty, King Alfred Tristan Lawrence Augustine Crawford, and it is by my royal decree that every individual who lives upon this earth should be listening to the podcast run by two white guys who talk about wrestling. One is in a car called Dropkick, the Commute.
Oh yeah, that's good.
That's gonna be the intro now.
That's good.
Oh man, all right.
Oh,
Thank you
All
so
right,
much,
guys.
Michael. Much
you for
appreciated.
having
Thank
me.
you for the time. This was a blast.
Hi.
That cut out so
that
fast.
did not come through.
Okay. See you guys.
Oh
Have fun.
man, goodbye.
Dropkick the commute, shining bright in the night. Join the conversation.